Salutations. My name is Cinnamon Dior, and you're watching Cinema Dior. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Welcome to Cinema Dior, where each episode we cover important figures and themes of film history. This episode we will be discussing something that I know a lot about: syphilis. So here's the tea. During the period of World War I, there was a large outbreak of syphilis, mostly transferred by bored American soldiers all across Europe. Now, this is the time before penicillin, okay? So, at this time, if you were to get syphilis, you were to suffer from genital sores, body parts such as your nose or penis falling off, and then death. And while this disease affected Europe the most, it has an important part in American film history. Did you know that the fashion trend of wearing sunglasses never really took off until the late 1800s and early 1900s? Socialites, including Hollywood producers, would wear these round sunglasses with a false nose attached because they had lost their nose from syphilis. These people would straight up go into work, like darkly lit, with these sunglasses on, saying like, hey, this is a wig for my face. I have a nose. You just don't get to see it. Some of the first exploitation films exploit the public fear of the combination of large cities and venereal diseases, such as gonorrhea or syphilis. In fact, there was so many movies about men getting syphilis from women that the term Susie crotch rot became a popular term in regular society. These films warned young men to stay away from women like Susie crotch rot by staying away from dance halls, bars, and dark alleyways. So basically anywhere that you might find a drag queen. One of the most famous films was Sex Madness, which was just a ripoff of Reefer Madness. I watched it today while I was doing my makeup. Even the only difference is that there's no piano. No piano at the party in Sex Madness. Otherwise, Reefer Madness and Sex Madness are the same fucking film. The moral of this film is that if you're a secretary and your best friend asks you to come out to a burlesque show, don't do it, because if you go to that burlesque show, you will soon become a street-level sex worker, giving syphilis to every man in New York. That's how I got here. The director Dwayne Esper made his entire career off of exploiting public xenophobia and a fear of city life, with such films as Marijuana, The Devil's Weed, and Narcotics, or my favorite one of his pictures. It's straight up called this: How to Get Naked in Front of Your Husband. And that film is straight up just a comedy about voyeurism in 1941. All of his films, mostly just because of the titles, would not be played outside of Chicago, New York, or Los Angeles. And yet he was one of the most fiscally successful producers and director at the time. I can definitely recommend watching Sex Madness or Maniac as it was theatrically released. Number one, just because it is so bad that is delicious to watch. And number two, because it shows how Hollywood used what the public in 1920s was afraid of. And let's be honest, what they were truly afraid of was women. What we can learn from these films is wrap your fucking dick up, okay? And if you get a little sore down there, show it to a doctor, because it's not gonna get better. Nothing in life ever gets better, including your venereal disease. So check it out immediately. This has been Cinnamon Dior, and you've been watching Cinema Dior. Please feel free to subscribe down there and share this video with your friends. Bye.